everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Night Clan by Japanime Games, which is part of the Domina Anthology Volume 2. This is a game for 2 to 4 players, which plays in about 10 to 20 minutes for ages 8 and up. Now before I open up the box and set up the game and explain the rules and share my thoughts, I'd like to ask you all to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. It really helps the channel, and if you already have, you're an absolute legend. Also check out my Patreon page if you'd like to support what I do by clicking the link in the description below, and you can already support for as little as just €1 per month, and in return you will get early access to all of my videos, your name in the credits, and also access to some Patreon exclusive videos. Alright, let's get started. To set up Night Clan, take the large location cards, and depending on the number of players, take the appropriate cards. There's 4 cards for 2 players, there's 2 more cards if you're playing with 3 players, and there's 8 cards in total if you're playing with 4 players, and set them out on the table. Separate all the other cards into their 4 colors. All 4 decks are the same, and every player chooses one of those decks to play with. Every player shuffles their deck and draws 3 cards to start with. If you have 2 Night Watch cards on your hand, you can show these cards to all the other players, reshuffle them back into the deck, and draw 3 new cards. Randomly determine who gets to be the first player, and then you're done with the setup. Let's explain the rules. The goal of the game is to get as many points as possible, and all the cards have a points value in the top left corner of the card. And starting with the first player, players choose 2 cards from their hand and will place them on any of these locations. You can place them on different locations, or you can play both cards on the same locations. Every location has a maximum capacity of cards, and that's the number in the big circle in the right of the card. So for example, I might choose to put one of the daughter cards in the bar and one of my daughter cards in the lamp shop, and I just keep this one on my hand, and at the end of my turn I draw back up to 3. Every player has the same deck of cards, just in a different color, and every deck has 7 daughters, 2 Night Watch cards, 2 Riches cards, 1 Mistletoe, and 1 Troll card. In the game, players are going to try and hide their daughters and their riches from the troll who is coming to take those away. And I will explain scoring in a bit, but first I will explain what all of these cards do. Daughter cards are simply placed face up on any location, and their victory points are in the top left. They're all worth 1 victory point. The Night Watch card is also placed face up, is worth -1 victory point, and has an effect in the game. Whenever you play a Night Watch card, you may do one of 2 things. You may either move one of your previously played cards from any other location to the location where you played the Night Watch card. Or you may move an opponent's card from the location where you're playing the Night Watch card to a different location if there's still room according to the numbers on those locations. The next 3 cards are always placed face down, so you don't know which cards the opponents are playing, and you need to remember which cards you played onto which location. Riches are simply worth 2 points. The Mistletoe is used to scare away the troll and is worth 1 point, and the troll is worth -2 points. At the end of the game, if there's a troll present on any location, then all the cards on that location, including the troll itself, are all discarded and won't be counted for the victory points. However, Mistletoe cards can negate the troll's effect, so when there is a Mistletoe card at the location where there is a troll, then all the cards will simply remain on the table and will be counted in final scoring. But any Mistletoe cards on a location where there are no trolls will be discarded. Just the Mistletoe cards, all the other cards will remain on the table. And if the number of troll cards exceeds the number of Mistletoe cards on a given location, then the troll's effect is resolved as normal. So players take turns playing 2 cards, drawing back up to 2 cards until all the cards are gone. They're left with 1 card on their hand, and in the final round every player plays that final card and all the locations should be full by then. So then at that point you start scoring. So first of all, you look at all the locations and you flip over the face down cards and you start with the locations with the lowest capacity. So that's in this case the cards with 5 on it. So let's start with these. So I'll turn over these cards. This could be a situation that happens at the end of a game. So we have riches here, we have a daughter, somebody put a troll here, and some cards got moved around. There's a night watch and there's another daughter. There's no mistletoe to counter the troll. And whenever a location is revealed that has a troll, then the troll takes all of the riches and all of the daughters and runs off with it, and all these cards are gone and will not be scored. So all of these cards are simply removed from the game. Then the next location with the lowest capacity is this one. And this has only daughters, so they will stay in play. And the player with the majority of their color cards on this location will also take the location card. These are not used for scoring, but they serve to determine the winner in case of a tie. But since there are 2 purple cards and 2 green cards here, the location card is discarded. Next we look at the locations with 6 cards capacity. So we'll start with this one. So I'll flip over all of these cards and see what we get here. So there is a daughter, there are riches, there's another daughter, there is a troll, there's another daughter, but there's also mistletoe. And that means that the troll's effect of taking off with all of these daughters and riches is negated, and the values are in the end added to their owner's final score. And since the red player has the majority of cards here, they also take the location card. In this location here we have a troll and mistletoe again. We got some more riches and even more riches. So the same thing happens there. The mistletoe cancels out the troll's effect, and the green player has the majority here, so that player takes that location card. Next we'll take a look at the 7s. So here I'll flip over this card, which is riches. There are no trolls or mistletoe on that location, and the green player once again has the majority of cards there, so they also take that location card. On this 7 location we have a troll, and let's see if there is also a mistletoe. There is not, so that means the troll takes all of these daughters and riches, and all of this is discarded. There is an 8 location here. Next we flip over this card. That's mistletoe. Could this be? That's also mistletoe. There are no trolls here, which means the mistletoe doesn't do anything, and these are discarded. And that means that now the purple player has the majority here, so they take this location card. And finally, the second capacity 8 location card. A lot of flipped over cards, so let's reveal those. There's some riches, and finally we have more riches, a night watch, and more riches. The blue player has the majority of cards on this location, so they take that location card. So let's just make it clear who got location cards. I'll just use these discarded cards that don't count anymore for the player colors. So this card goes to the green player. This card also goes to the green player. This location goes to the blue player. This location goes to the red player. And finally, this location goes to the purple player. Normally, every player would, of course, just take those cards in front of themselves. And then all the victory point values of all the remaining cards are simply added to their respective owner's score. So if I was the purple player, I'll just collect all of my cards here. So I'll have this one, and these 3 are mine. And there's a troll here that stayed in play because there was a mistletoe here, and I didn't have any purple cards here. So I have 2 points. -2 is 0, -1 and 1, that's still 0, and I have 4 daughters left, so that is 4 points for me. The blue player also has a troll still in play here because there was a mistletoe, so they collect all of their cards over here and here and here. And they end up with 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2, 3, 5 points. The red player has, let's see, 3 daughters, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 points. And the green player has 10 points in total. Now, if there was a tie between the green player and any other player, then the player holding the location cards with the highest total capacity is the winner. And if the total capacities are also the same, then the game is a draw. So for example, the red player had a capacity of 6, and the green player also had a capacity of 6, but they had a second card with 7, making them the winner in case of a tie. And that is how you play Night Clan. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Night Watch by Japanime Games. Let's start with the components. So most of what you get, of course, are cards, and the cards are of a good quality. They're actually pretty thick. They are glossy though, so they are a bit slippery and shiny. They reflect the light, but they are of good quality and they are printed clearly as well. The colors are nice. I especially like the bigger cards with all the locations. They have the really cool artwork, and also, you know, they're nice and big. They have the big numbers on here, so you can easily spot how many cards you can place on each location, and that all looks very good, and it all fits in a very compact box, which I like as well. There's even room to sleeve your cards should you want to. The artwork is really good. I really like it. It's very charming and a bit moody and dark. I like the Night Watch guy there, the Plague Doctor, and I do like the charming anime style princesses that are also on the cards, the daughters, and they do have the same artwork on all 7 of the daughters here for all of these decks. So it would have been nice if you had 7 different daughters, but I guess they're all septuplets, if that's a thing. So there's that. The troll is also very nice, and the mistletoe, but I especially, again, like all of these locations. They're very nice and dark, very eerie looking, so it's almost like it's a bit of a horror game, which it really isn't, but it does have that mood about it, so I do really like the artwork. The theme is okay, doesn't really matter that much to the game, but I do like the setting. You're basically in this fantasy world. A troll is coming to take your daughters and your riches, so you need to hide them in different locations, and it kind of fits the game in a way that you do need to hide cards, and you need to remember where you hit them, and you kind of need to deduce where other people are placing their cards, because you want to take their points if you can as well, and try to prevent them from getting points. So you're basically also playing the troll for other players. So yeah, okay, so the theme is fun and kind of works, but it probably could have been any theme. The gameplay then, I really enjoyed the gameplay. I do like lighter, more family accessible games that play quickly. And basically what it comes down to is cleverly playing your cards in the right locations, paying attention to what the other players are doing, and a lot of memory. You need to remember where you put your cards and what you think the opponent did. And sometimes the Night Watch will move cards around, so you also need to pay attention to where certain cards are going. Now, of course, you can just see the daughters, but and the Night Clan, but the riches, the mistletoe, and the troll will be hidden. So that's the memory aspect here, and I do like that. It's not too difficult, but it is kind of challenging when you're playing this with 4 players, especially to, you know, keep track of where everything is. With 2 or 3, it is easier to play. The replayability is basically just how many times you would like to play it. This is a quick game, so, you know, after you've played it once, you might just want to play it a second or even a third time. So there's that, and it basically will stay as fun as you enjoy it, as long as you enjoy it. So, you know, in that regard, replayability is as long as, you know, your personal enjoyment of the game. Finally, there's the language dependency. The game is fully language independent. It does, of course, have the names of all the cards in English on the cards, but that doesn't really matter for the game that much. Also, the locations have the names in English, but that's not really a problem. All you need to know is what the cards do and, you know, where you can play them, and the numbers, again, make it very clear how many cards there can be at a maximum at each location, and that's really all you need to know. So in the end, I think this is a very enjoyable, pretty light but accessible game that you can enjoy with just about anyone who likes games such as this. You know, a bit of memory, a bit of bluffing, you know, just playing your cards cleverly and just trying to get as many points as you can at the end of the game. Giving it an absolute thumbs up. I can surely recommend checking this one out. And I would like to thank Japanime Games for sending this game over for me to take a look at. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And please also check out the link to my Patreon page below, or click the Patreon icon at the end of this video. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.